Welcome to episode 2 of the Reign of Jafar reveals. Make sure to check out the playlist for the other episodes and give the video a like. And thank you to Card Market, who continue to support the channel and sponsor this video. It's a great place to buy singles online in Europe. In today's video, we have many cards I'm reacting to for the first time, but we also have some really powerful legendaries that I have already seen. One in particular I'm really excited to talk about. First card, Basil, is an example of a card I have not read yet, but immediately 7 cost in Emerald is expensive, but in a deck, in particular in Emerald Sapphire, 7 cost is a number that you can get to, but 6 is really the number you want in Emerald Sapphire because that 7 cost slot is already being overloaded in the form of Bend to My Will and Clarabelle. So already I'm not sure it's the best position card just based off of its cost, but let's see if my opinion changes with the ability. 5/4, reasonable stat line that quests for 2. Definitely nothing spectacular for 7 cost there, but all okay. And the abilities is Anticipate. When you play this character, you may return chosen character to their player's hand, and whenever it quests, chosen opponent discards a card at random. Okay, you know what? You know how I said, like, its abilities need to impress me? Well, consider me very impressed. That is a pretty nice looking card, I have to say. When you play, you can return a chosen character. It costs 5, so you're not going to be 5 strength, or you're not going to be able to bounce it back with muses. This card would almost be better if it was at 2 strength, so you could use the muses with it and replay it and get that effect multiple times. Like you quest, you discard a card, you bounce it back, you replay it. Even at 5, you can't use Sapphire Coil once on it. It would take 2 Sapphire Coil triggers to bounce it back with muses. So it doesn't have that synergy with muses that I would like to see in an Emerald Sapphire deck. It's inkable. It's definitely solid. Being able to make your opponent discard a card after Bend to My Will is really powerful, right? You discard their whole hand, then you get Basil down, bounce something back the turn he's played, and then, you know, if you've got another Basil, you bounce something back with another Basil that you play, you quest with this Basil, you discard it. You bounce something back with the muses. There's definitely some serious potential with Basil, the undercover detective, in a Sapphire Emerald deck. Like I say, if it costs 6, it might fit the deck a little bit better, but this one's got serious potential, and it's definitely a card I like the look of. My gut feeling is it could sneak into decks. It's not going to be something you play 4 copies of, but in Emerald Sapphire, it's got definitely potential. Elsewhere, I very much doubt it's something you're going to be able to play. Prince John, the Frady Cat, and a big thank you again to Mushy Report for compiling all these images. It's a 3-cost uninkable with a 5/5 stat line and it quests for 1. Very good stats. Whenever an opponent plays a character, deal 1 damage to this character. Even a Frightened Lion still has claws. There's definitely some self-wound synergy in Ruby and Amethyst in particular with a lot of the dual link cards. And Prince John with a 5/5 body is really very good. Flynn Rider synergy comes to mind. Obviously, you've got the Sisu. Sisu is also a set 4 card, it's worth bearing in mind. So we really know what's interesting when we're evaluating these cards. We have to consider the rotation dynamic of these cards, right? Set 8, of course, going to be rotated out in 15 months as well. So these cards aren't going to be, unless they get reprinted, in the game for as long as the cards that are in set 9, right? This is only going to be in this meta that we're expecting as soon as the set comes out, and then 4 sets afterwards. But for the 4 sets afterwards where Sisu is maybe rotated out, this could become the go-to option for Flynn Rider. And yeah, the self-rune synergy, still not seeing all of the potential of it, but there definitely seems to be a lot of support in the most recent set, and even some support in the set previous as well. Hamster Ball, it's a 3-cost uninkable item. Roll with the punches. You can exert it and spend 1 ink. Chosen character with no damage gains resist 2 until the start of your next turn. It's very niche, very expensive, rather slow. You can see the Jafar stuff in the background there. I don't think it's any good. In order for this to be reasonable, you would need to have some serious item synergy, something like an Oswald that cheats this out for free. But the fact it's uninkable, the fact you have to spend 1 ink in order to use its ability and exert it, so it's, you know, one and done. You're spending 4 ink to give something resist 2 for the first time. It's very slow. I don't think it's good at all. And that's being generous. But a legendary Raya, and it's a 6 cost. Remember what I just said about 6 cost in Emerald having some potential in an Emerald Sapphire deck? Is it good though? 5/5 stat line quest for 2 is very reasonable stats. It trades with a Maui. If a Maui challenges it, if a Half Shark challenges it, it's a trade. It can't get taken out by a Fox. It can be removed by Zeus, but it's a really good stat line. 5/5 quest for 2. Whenever this character quests, you may pay 2 ink to ready another chosen character. That is pretty interesting. That's a good card. I tell you, it's definitely a good card. Not like a ton of decks come to mind with this one, but again, immediately when I see 6 cost, I think I get Emerald Sapphire. And with Bell, for example, from set 1, if I've got a Bell that quests for 5, and then I quest for 2 with Raya, I ready my Bell, suddenly my Bell can quest for 10 in a single turn. Could really turn the heat up, really turn the burners on. This card does have good stats. You need to quest in order to achieve its ability, so it's a bit slow. Like the turn it comes down, it does nothing. So I think outside of ramp strategies, Raya is going to be too slow. But with ramp strategies, like I mentioned to you previously, 6 cost is a pretty nice nice threshold. There's like a bit of a weakness in that sort of 6 cost slot. There's Tamatoa from Sapphire in the most recent set. But this before, like a Clarabelle or a Bend, sounds like it could be pretty good, right? You could take a quest with something else and challenge, or like, let's say you've got like a Grammatala. Suddenly, your Grammatala could like sing How Far I'll Go, or sing You're Welcome, trigger the Muses, you quest with the Raya, you ready the Tala, and then you can either sing or challenge with it again, and you can really start making some efficient trades. Big problem that Sapphire Emerald has is against steel decks in particular with Pete. If they nullify your Muses, you really run out of board control options. But Raya provides that, just being a 5/5 herself, potentially. The thing that I don't like about her is that I'm seeing her, she's a bit of she's flexible, but like one of the advantages of her ability is that you can use it as control or closer, right? You can quest again with something like a Bell or a Cricky, which has a lot of questing power. You can take a double challenge, a double sing. But if you're taking a double challenge or a double sing, it's probably like a control type play, but she's questing in order to achieve that control dynamic, and it's a turn delayed. It's definitely a very interesting card, that's for sure. And it's also possible, you know, in like an Amber, an Emerald deck, you have some character ramp with, you know, like something like Gaston. You play Gaston in Amber on turn 3, or even sooner perhaps if you play Pluto on turn 1, but you play Gaston on 3, you ink the next turn, you're at 4 ink, you exert your Gaston, and suddenly you can play Raya the turn after, so turn 4 Raya with Gaston, and then she's down on the board, you quest with her, you can ready your Gaston and cycle your Gaston multiple times. So there's potential there with Amber and with Sapphire. Like, again, those 2 decks with ramp strategies. I think in a deck without ramp, it's going to be too slow. Archimedes, the resourceful owl. It's a 3 cost 2/2 that quests for 2. Very reasonable stats. When you play this character, you may banish chosen item. Okay. That's a very good start. And now that's not bad. During your turn, whenever an item is banished, you may draw a card, then choose and discard a card. It's also not bad. Very similar card to Benja, but it's in Emerald. Slightly worse stats because it has 1 strength less, or sorry, 1 willpower less, which isn't particularly significant in the grand scheme of things. But you get the upside of being able to draw and discard a card, and it's in Emerald. This card's very good. I like this card a lot. It's Benja in Emerald. And I like Benja. Benja's a great card. And so is this Resourceful Owl. Very, very good card. You see, a lot of times I'm saying cards are bad, but today so far, is it? No, okay. I was about to say we're completely, every card's good. And then I remind myself of the hamster ball. The Colonel Old Sheepdog. 3/6. It quests for 1. We've got them outnumbered. It's a 5 cost, so you can... just in time into it. While you have 3 or more puppy characters in play, this gets +2 strength and +2 willpower. So it'll be a 5/6 that quests for 3. Sure. His training was invaluable in infiltrating the palace. Puppy payoff. I mean, a 5/6 that quests for 3 is good. But if you think about like Gantu in Steel, Gantu's like a 4/3 which quests for 4. Would I rather a 4-3 that quests for 4 or a 5-6 which quests for 3? Well, I'd rather have a 5-6 that quests for 3, but obviously this is very conditional. 3 puppies is a lot of puppies. Excuse me. Not so sure about the Colonel. He's definitely not terrible. The second Mushu in Disney Lorcana. This one is a common. It's a 2-3, and you can exert him, and chosen character gains rush this turn. Huh, that's a very interesting ability. Very, very interesting. So you play him on 3, and then obviously what comes to mind is you would want something on turn 4 which has rush, or gains rush. And obviously Mushu we know is a Ruby Steel card, the old Mushu, and actually Ruby Steel is maybe the deck that this could, it immediately comes to mind it could work in. You give like the new Raya from yesterday's video, don't forget to check that out. 4-cost rush with evasive. It's rather slow. Move, move, move. There's no time to explain. Well, maybe a little time, so listen up. Not completely convinced by this one. 2-3. Use its ability, and then it's just going to kind of get traded out a turn later, right? Like if it had 3 strength and it traded evenly with like a fox, for example, but the fact that like a fox takes this down and remains on the board, I feel like it's probably too low impact. It's very linear, right? It's not like you can play this guy and you can either use its ability or like take an efficient trade or quest. It's like only ever good if you're using its ability. And maybe that has potential. Giving rush to some characters could definitely be good. Like maybe like the Mickey Mouse in Ruby Steel, like the 2-cost Mickey Mouse, for example. Suddenly a Mushu means that you could rush in with the 2-cost Mickey. And if your opponent exerts something with like one willpower, it's very niche, but there's some synergy there. Ruby Steel seems like the most obvious place for this, and I'm not convinced that I would want to play it. I don't think I would. We've got Adelaide Bon Family, the patron of arts. She's a 2-3 that quests for 1. It's Simba without bodyguard, which in the 8th set is incredibly lackluster. Really, really poor card based off its stats. Beautiful music, can ennoble one's spirits no matter how dire things seem. It's very poor. But it's nice art. Likucha, this one's in French. Let me pull up my other tab with the translations here. So it's a Ruby Steel card, 2-cost. Inkable with a 2-2 stat line, and thanks to Mushy Report again for the translations here. It's a Storyborn villain, and the ability is Frenzied Rush. Again, this translation might not be perfect, but it's very close to being accurate. While you have 2 or more exerted characters, this character gains +2 strength and evasive. That's interesting. We talked about yesterday, one of Ruby Steel's weaknesses is its lack of ability to deal with evasive cards. And for a deck that focuses very much on challenging, that is a huge problem, because you suddenly have a very exploitable weakness as a Ruby Steel player that's trying to double down on challenges. Because if your opponent has genies, they just quest, they don't quest of anything else, and then you lose. So having cards which can answer evasives is important. And its condition is not that tricky to meet. You need 2 other exerted characters or more. But that probably means it's not until turn 4 that this would become evasive, right? Like you play a card on turn 1, you play Kocha, then on turn 3 you play another card, but it's not until the start of your 4th turn that you would actually be able to have 2 other exerted cards. And that for me means that this card is too slow. A 4-2 evasive though that costs 2 is great. The problem is it's very, very conditional. In Ruby you already have you have Pegasus, which is a 3-1 evasive. And you already have the new Racer that's a 3-1 evasive, the same stats as Pegasus. I think those cards are better than this. And considering it's a dual link card, it becomes even more niche. I feel like I would rather play 3-1 unconditional than this conditional ability. It's too hard to meet too early on. We have this lovely lady who... I remember her! Isn't she from Treasure Planet? Look at me go. She's from Treasure Planet, and it's Wilhelmina Packard, which might not be perfect pronunciation or translation. It's the radio operator. She's a 3-4 that quests for 1. She's a Storyborn ally, and the flavor text is Helga. It has a metallic sound. Maybe it's an echo from the rocks. Wilhelmina. Want to do my job, Blondie? Be my guest. Love it. See? I know a thing or two about Disney. I'm getting there. This one also this one's in German, and it is the Dodo, the outlandish storyteller. It's a 0/6 that quests for 1. Very interesting stat line. 6 willpower is a lot. And the ability is a most fatal situation. This character gets +1 strength for each damage on them. And there I was in the cave beneath the palace when suddenly sand trickled down. Did I stop? No. What's a little sand? Again, like we're seeing a big push in the direction of self-wound as a archetype. I'm not sure self-wound would be the Disney-friendly term. I think self-wound's kind of fine. That's what we called this style of deck in Gwent. So that's why I'm calling it that for now. But that is a very reasonable stat line. 0/6, and it gets +1 strength for every damage. So it's going to be like, if it's got 1 damage, it becomes a 1/5. If it's got 2, it's a 2/4. If it's got 3, it's a 3/3. I don't know. If it's got 4 damage, it's a 4/2. If it's got 5 damage, it's a 5/1. So it's a flexible card with a lot of self-wound potential. You know, it's like it's a sponge. If you've got abilities which you really want to self-damage something with, like it's like if you look at the stat line of all of those, right, depending on how much damage it has, it's not that good. But it's a sponge for your other self-damage cards. And obviously a lot of cards will read damage something by 2 and do something really good, right? Like the self-damage is a downside, but with the Dodo here, you can turn that self-damage into a potential upside. It's definitely got potential, that's for sure. We've got a 7/4. This card is something that I would immediately pick up in a sealed format. These kinds of cards are great in sealed. And it's Lafayette, the Sleepy Basset Hound. And the flavor text here is a Lorcana only one, so could have some hints towards the story. What are we guarding the kitchen for, Napoleon? There are no scarabs around here. Call me when there's something serious to take care of. And this one is wrong lever. That is the translation, wrong lever. And choose one. You either return chosen character to their player's hand, or you put a pull the lever card from your discard pile on the bottom of your deck to put chosen character on the bottom of their owner's deck. Okay, so this is an action. The pull the lever card I'll pull up for you now. It's a dual ink card we looked at yesterday, which is Emerald and Amethyst, and it's basically Sudden Chill and Friends as both options in a single card, but it's specifically an action. And obviously it's only a dual ink card, which means even though this one, wrong lever, isn't a specifically dual ink card, like it kind of is, right? Because a big part of its flexibility is pull the lever down. So you return chosen character to their player's hand. So it's like Mother Knows Best, but it's not a song, but it's inkable, right? So if you think about Mother Knows Best, it's an uninkable, it's a song. Whereas this is got the upside of being inkable, but the downside is that it's not a song. But it has that extra upside, which is that if you put a pull the lever card, oops, sorry, Mirabelle. If you put a pull the lever card, I would actually call it lever, by the way, but because it's Yzma saying lever, I would say lever. Pull the lever. Wrong lever. So you put a pull the lever card from your discard pile on the bottom of your deck, and instead of bouncing a card back to your opponent's hand or your hand, you put it on the bottom of their deck. So obviously that is the more powerful ability. You put a pull the lever card from your discard onto the bottom of your deck, and that enables you to put, instead of one of your opponent's cards in their hand, like a Mother Knows Best, it puts it back on the bottom of the deck. Sounds like something that would be really powerful actually in a Sapphire Emerald deck, but obviously you can only do that in Emerald and Amethyst. Are these cards good? Maybe. You need like some heavy action support, I think. Like this card's definitely good, but they're both, you can't sing them. It's a lot of tempo loss. So you probably are going to want some synergy with these cards, which supports actions and reducing the cost of actions, for example. Like if these cards were able to be played with Robin Hood Sharpshooter, I would be really, 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 really into it, right? The fact that pull the lever is Amethyst Emerald means you can't do that. So I'm not exactly sure what combos come to mind, but if these cards could be paired with Robin Hood Sharpshooter, you guys already know I would be giving them 9 out of 10s, maybe even 10 out of 10. We've got Mirabelle Madrigal. She's a 0/2. And this one is whenever you play it, if you have you reveal a song in hand and gain a lore. Let me double check that, but I saw this one earlier. Yep. When you play this character, you may reveal a song and gain a lore. And this is also... no, this one's not Lorcana. This is from Disney lore. In any case, your talent will be as special as you are, Alma Madrigal. It's not a bad card, that's for sure. But 2 strength is not a lot. 0 strength is not a lot of strength. It's a Madrigal. If you're playing a deck which has big payoff for having Madrigals, it's probably worth it. Otherwise, it's probably not going to be worth it compared to other options. Up next, we've got this one, which is also a good card. This card is a 1/2 in Amethyst at quest for 1. It's the Royal Guard Octopus Soldier, heavily armed. Whenever you draw a card, this character gains Challenger 1 this turn. So that would include at the start of your turn, right? It's ready, set, draw. So you play this on 1, it's a 1/2. Then you ready, set, draw, and then it's a 1/2 with Challenger 1. So if you do any more drawing, it can become even bigger. It's interesting, right? Like, I mean, the most obvious comparison is Rafiki, which is a 0/2 with Challenger 3. Would I rather play this or Rafiki? Well, this has higher ceiling. It's definitely a fascinating card. Very, very fascinating card. It's a good card. Amethyst, though, does have the best 1-drops in the game. So it's going to, for me personally, be difficult to justify playing this. If it was in a different color, which maybe has some weaker 1-drops, something like Sapphire, something like Emerald maybe even, or Amber, I would probably like it quite a bit more. But this, I'm not sure because Amethyst cards are so good. But if things like Magic Broom and Chernobogs get rotated out, then it becomes probably more appealing. We've got Nani, the Heist. And by the way, I think that those cards probably should get rotated out. I think they're a bit too good, in my opinion. Nani, the Heist Mastermind. 4-cost Inkable with a 3/3 stat line, and it quests for 1. Stick to the plan. You can exert her, and another chosen character gains resist 2 this turn. 4-cost is good for Sapphire. Your character's name, gains support. Interesting. So maybe some sort of like Amber and Sapphire payoff for Lilo. I am rather unconvinced by that one. 4-cost is a good number because you go Tipo or sail into it, but yeah, I don't think so for me. It's a little bit all over the place, right? Like, it's very, very niche, but it's cool to see some Nani and Lilo synergy. We got Jean, the Nice Land Resident. It's got a 1/2 stat line, and it quests for 1. And I guess you earned this. Whenever this character quests, you may remove up to 2 damage. Getting a medal feels pretty great. Making Jean squirm feels even better. Wreck-It Ralph. I don't like this card. 1/2 stat line on a 1-cost is like my worst nightmare of a stat line. You need like a very impressive ability for that. Usually, like, you see, like, if it was like 1/2 uninkable, it might be fine because then it's got the potential of having a really good ability. But I think that every single 1/2 inkable card in Lorcana is usually quite bad. I mean, in fairness, the exception is like these challenger type cards, right? Like Captain Hook and this guy. But yeah, just 1/2 stat line doesn't provide you really much. You're supposed to quest of this in order to achieve its ability. And it's then just going to get, spat on and removed. Sorry, Gene. I didn't mean to say it like that. We've got the most everyone's mad here. 7-cost uninkable action. That is out the threshold of Robin Hood Sharpshooter, which continues to get better the more actions are released, and somehow is the most mentioned card from previous sets. So far, it seems like we've had a lot of actions, I guess, in that case. Gain lore equal to the damage on chosen character, then banish them. You can use that on your opponent's cards. That is obviously the best use. Don't think you're going to be using this on your own. Of course, you could to finish the job if you've got a Maui with 4 damage and it can become like a Go-Go Tamago. 7-cost uninkable is obviously a competitive slot in Amethyst. Well, some go this way, some go that way, but as for me, myself personally, I prefer the shortcut. I like the card. I do like it. It's very uninkable and expensive, but it's got potential, right? It's definitely an interesting one. There's a reason it's uninkable. If it was inkable, it would be absurdly strong. But most likely being uninkable and costing 7 is probably going to mean It's not gonna do much, but it's one worth keeping an eye on as things develop for sure. But my gut feeling is it's too clunky at 7 cost uninkable. You need like a way of dealing with uninkables consistently, right? So like maybe you pair it with strike a good match. I'm not so sure that I would do that again because it's outside of the Robin Hood range. Maybe something like Fishbone Quill. Again, would you really want to play this in Rupee Sapphire? I'm not so sure. And then if you're not playing it with either of those two, there's nothing really else that comes to mind. Kind of doubt it, but it's definitely a cool card and has some potential. We've got Lumiere up next. 1/1, questing for 2. It's great, interesting stats because its ability, if it should have a good ability. I was pulling up the translation and it's in English. That's embarrassing. What the hell? I saw Sacre Bleu. This is no way to treat a guest in your palace. While you have an item card in your discard, it gains evasive. Oh. That's a very strong card. But at the moment, we have a pretty heavy evasive meta. And that maybe means it's not that good. In a meta where there's not many evasives, this is good. It's like a turn 2 evasive that quests for 2, I think is quite unique. I don't think we have any of those yet. And 2 cost in Ruby is not exactly like a slot which is usually that good. But like what Ruby deck would you want to play an abundance of items in that would have like an item in the discard turn 3? It's only really Sapphire that comes to mind with something like Popsicle, right? It's probably not very good. But it's a cool card. But the more I look at it, the more I don't like it. But it's definitely powerful, just hard to pull off. And then even when you pull off, I'm not sure the meta would be too kind to Lumiere. Monterey Jack is a 4/5 with Bodyguard. It's also, you know, speaking of this, it's an evasive which can't remove Diablo, which feels bad, right? It feels really bad. Monterey Jack, the Defiant Protector, is a 4/5 Bodyguard. Quest for 2. It's very, very okay, but very mediocre. This card's great. This card is incredible. This card is one of those very, very high impact cards, in my opinion, which you look at Mushu from the last set, and I was looking at the Amethyst and Sapphire cards, and I was like, none of these are making me want to play Blurple that much. Like, they're all okay. Certainly the Arna and the Sven, but Into the Unknown, this card's unbelievably good. It's an action song, and you can put exerted character into their player's inkwell face down and exerted. The tempo you can game with this is through the roof. And it looks like there's like lots of like story stars here as well, right? From the Lorcana universe. Very powerful card. Of course, you can use it on your own for more ramp. Don't forget about that dynamic. Very, very high potential. Now, one downside with this is like the 1 cost Diablo with a 0/1 stat line. If that card is banished, you draw a card, but putting something into the inkwell does not count as banished. So you can't like use this on your Diablo, ramp, and draw a card. But yeah, like the tempo you can game with that, like, you know how much tempo you can game with like a Zeus or something like this by singing it with Rabbit? Well, you can do that same sort of thing with this. You sing it with a Fox. You take down your opponent's card. Okay, you give them some ramp, but it's a really powerful control tool in a color combination which lacks control, right? Like, I don't think you are going to play Hades anymore. This becomes your Hades, and it's an inkable song, which is really impressive. I love this card. It obviously has huge downside of putting stuff into their inkwell. Like, you don't necessarily, even though this costs 3, you don't necessarily want to be using this early. You want to maybe like make your let your opponent do like their normal inking decisions, but then in the late game, when you're trying to really turn on the heat, you use Into the Unknown, bam. And of course, the fact that you can use it on your own stuff is not irrelevant either. I love this card. It is only characters. You can't use it on like a Popsicle to ramp for yourself. That's worth noting. This card's really, really very good though. Very, very powerful. But I love the design of it as well. And it's like perfect dual link card. This would be so bad if this was available in every deck. Arna, the Trusting Sister, 3 cost 2/2, quest for 2. We can do this together. When you play this character, if you have a character named Elsa in play, you may put the top card of your deck into your inkwell. So it's Mickey Mouse, but only if you have Elsa, and it's inkable, and it quests for 2. It's got potential. Not sure there's that many 1 or 2 cost Elsas that come to mind that you would want, though. In fact, I can tell you there isn't, and that's possibly the problem for Anna. Olaf, recapping the story, 2-1, quest for 1. I like a 2-1 stat line. I talked earlier how about I don't like a 1-2, but a 2-1 stat line I like. I think it's much, much better. For a 1-drop anyway. When you play this character, chosen opposing character gets -1 strength. I don't like the ability. It's not like, you don't want this ability on turn 1, and it's a 1-drop. Like a 1-drop which has an ability which is bad on turn 1 is just not very good, usually. It began with 2 sisters, 1 born with magical powers and 1 born powerless. Their love of snowmen infinite. Anna, the magical mission, another Duel Link Blurpool card. There is the 4-cost Blurpool Anna from the most recent set as well, and I think that card was better than we recognized. It's also a promo, of course, and this is a shift for Anna, so you could play that on 4, shift this on, or play the other Anna on 3 because you're going to ramp, and then play this on 4 as a shift. It's a 3/6 with support that quests for 2, and coordinated plan. Whenever this character quests, if you have a character named Elsa in play, you may draw a card. Very much pushing like the Anna and Elsa combos in Blurpool, and honestly, I'm all for it. I am all for it. I'm not so sure about this one. Support is a very good keyword, and 3 strength is a lot for support, but I don't love it. Like, I'm not really sure there's that many Anna cards you would want to shift onto, and I think it might be a bit niche. Like, I don't think you really need the card draw. I don't love this one. Don't love it. It's not bad by any stretch, though. Beyond the Horizon, Sing Together. Now, this card, I think, is crackers. I think this card is a bit crackers. 7 cost, uninkable, Sing Together 7. Choose any number of players. They discard their hands and draw 3 cards each. They discard their hand. Damn. And you do that on both people, right? You could Sing Together. I discard my hand like a dock. I have no cards. I draw 3. You discard your hand. You discard 7 and draw 3. Like, after a whole new world, you go Beyond the Horizon. I don't know. Not sure you would... Obviously, you could play it in a aerial whole new world type deck, or like an Amber Steel Song deck. Sing Together is usually going to be best with Amber because they are the ink color that has the singers. It's a very, very fascinating card, but like the Prince John synergy's there as well, right? Like, you make your opponent discard their hand, and then, okay, they draw 3, but you draw a bunch for Prince John. I'm not so sure about that necessarily, but it's got huge potential. Like, I can't exactly think of the best use case of this right now, but it's very, very strong. Worth keeping an eye on. Because obviously you can choose yourself and your opponent at the same time, or just your opponent, or just you. So it's very flexible in that sense. It is uninkable. Sing Together 7 is quite a lot, but in Amber it's not a big deal, right? It's like an Ursula and a Cinderella. So you can go Cindy, Ursula, Vanessa. Turn 3, discard hand, they draw 3. Like, that is kind of crippling. And, you know, if you've emptied your hand enough at that point already, this could be the last card in hand. You draw 3, so it, like, draws you 2 cards, makes your opponent discard a few. It's very, very interesting. Also, if you're playing a deck which has, like, big synergy with your discard pile, which we haven't really seen too many decks like that yet. But if there's, like, a deck in the future which benefits from you having lots of cards in your discard, then this becomes also really interesting. Very much want to keep an eye on. Even if it doesn't become good immediately, I think it will become good at some point. Nothing we won't do. Another Sing Together. I'm really glad to see more Sing Together cards. It's 8 cost. Ready all your characters. For the rest of this turn, they take no damage from challenges and can't quest. That's good. I like that card. It looks like a card you might want to play in Ruby Steel, right? Because you could do some questing, do some, you know, you got Mushroom down, do some questing, do some challenging or whatever it might be, until you've got like 8 cost worth of characters. You Sing Together 8 with those, everything gets readied. They can't quest, but if you've got Mushroom down on the board, they can take challenges, they can gain lore, they can also use like their exert to do abilities. That's got potential, no doubt about it for me. good with Maui as well. Like Maui's like another card which comes to mind with Sing Together. Also Reckless cards, which Ruby Steel has quite a lot of. Basically any Reckless card is like the best option for a Sing Together card that's not got the Singer text, right? Because you can't quest with it. And it gives you like some extra flexibility with those kinds of cards in a lot of board states. So I think that one's good. Wasabi, 3/5 with support, quest for 2. Okay, here's the plan. So the plan is leave Wasabi to watch our backs while we steal the crown. Good to know. Ooh. Wasabi's watching their backs. It's not a great card, but there's a lot of support synergy, and it's got the Inventor tag. Support's good, but I think support is much better when it costs 4 rather than 5. Like 5 is a bit too slow, even in Sapphire, because you ramp, you play a 4 on turn 3, so you can play this on turn 5, sorry, on turn 4, and it's not until then turn 5 you're going to be able to get the ability of support, and I think there's better things that you can be doing at that stage in the game. Chip, Quick Thinker, 3/2. When you play this character, chosen opponent chooses and discards a card. Oh my goodness. This card is incredible. This is so good. Oh my goodness. Wow. This is a big deal. This card's a big deal. Chip the Quick Thinker. Don't worry, Dad, I've got you. This card's so strong. Now, you might think, Spessy, what about the Daisy Duck in Amber? That nobody plays that. Well, kind of true, but like the Daisy Duck in Amber, which is a 2/3 and makes your opponent discard a card, is a card I've always loved and always said is very, very good. The thing with Daisy Duck is that you can only play Daisy Duck really in Amber and Emerald. And in Amber and Emerald, you've also got You Have Forgotten Me, which costs 4. This card is so good in a discard deck which is not playing Amber. It's a Friar Tuck that is always discarding, right? Like, if you guys remember like set 3 Friar Tuck, I loved it so much. It's like a 2/4 that quests for 2, and it has conditional discard. I would much rather play Chip than Friar Tuck. Guaranteed discard, and it costs 4. Like, we've got Honey Lemon at the moment, which honestly, I was expecting Honey Lemon to actually be good, but her 1/1 stat line is just too mediocre. But a 3/2 is really good, and it's guaranteed discard, and it's an Emerald card. So you can play this in Emerald Ruby, which you will. You can play this in maybe Emerald Steel. Incredibly good card. Again, not necessarily that it's like that good in its own right. I think it is. I think it's really good in its own right. But it's just an extra discard card, and it's like the right cost that you want. It's like that. It is that cost that you want. Rather than playing a Hypnotize after a Prince John, you want board presence. You need to fight for the board. This is good in Emerald Amethyst as well if you're playing a discard deck. Great card, 9.5 out of 10. This will see a lot of competitive play in my opinion. Oh my goodness, I'm excited for this one. I hope this has an Enchanted. This is the first, like, this and the Ruby Emerald, like, challenge action card from yesterday. Please give me some Enchanteds of those Ravensburger. I will buy a playset. Heads Held High. If I was to buy a playset, I would obviously do it from Card Market, who again sponsor the video. Thanks, Card Market. Heads Held High. I'm loving that we've got more Sing Together cards. Sing Together 6 in Sapphire. It's inkable. Remove up to 3 damage from any number of chosen characters. All opposing characters get -3 strength this turn. Grand Pabby synergy, not that I ever caught on. Has synergy with the Muses, but Under the Sea synergy as well, to be fair. Big Under the Sea synergy. But, you know, 2 Sing Together cards in one turn seems unrealistic. Not so sure about Heads Held High. Not so sure about that one. Not convinced. It's got a powerful ability. I just don't think it's necessarily doing really what, you know, it doesn't really, like, it's not going to win you a game. I don't know. I don't really see it working. It looks good on paper, but I think in practice it's like, how do you use this and do something good? Like, you use Heads Held High, you exert, sing a 6, and then what? You know, what then? I'm not really sure I have an answer for that. This card's good. Family is family no matter what. It's a 0/4 bodyguard. There was like the Prince, which is a 0/5 bodyguard, but it's uninkable. I prefer Jim quite a bit, actually. And I think this card's decent. Would I rather play Jim or would I rather play a Simba 2/3? I don't know. I don't know if I love him, but he's definitely not bad by any stretch. Particularly if you're playing like a deck which has bodyguard synergy, which there was like a new legendary, which we looked at yesterday, which has bodyguard synergy. So in that style of deck, Jim's probably quite good. Otherwise, probably not for me. Mother Gothel. Now, this is a really, really fascinating card. I saw Wonderland on Twitter, shout out to him, talking about this one, and he's a former DLC champ, and he is pretty high up on this card. 2 cost uninkable with a 1/3 stat line that quests for 1. Look what you've done! When you play this character, you may deal 2 damage to another chosen character of yours to give that character Challenger 1, and when this character is banished in a challenge, return this card to your hand. I don't know if I like it that much. Mother Gothel knows what's best. She certainly does. It's like almost... The card I want to compare this to, and it's going to sound like a very loose comparison at first, but bear with me. I want to compare this to the Amethyst Pinocchio that costs 2 and is uninkable, because that card was very, very good in set 3 meta. It's when you play Pinocchio, you can exert opposing character. And obviously that doesn't see play anymore, I think ever since Elsa came in particular, the 5 cost. There's no real need for it. Now, obviously, incredibly different abilities and use cases, but the comparison I want to draw between this and Pinocchio is this could be a really good 2 cost to play in the late game rather than on turn 2. And it could be a really good bounce target to replay multiple times. Deal 2 damage. I don't know. The self-wound synergy's there. It gives it Challenger 1. I don't know about this one, mate. It's got potential. There's no doubt about it. It's definitely one to keep an eye on. I'm a little bit unconvinced, personally. But there we go. I don't know. Not really so sure myself. But we'll see. This card's the one I've been waiting for. Oh my goodness. I know Baker will be excited about this because he's a big fan of Ratigan. And suddenly, I'm also a big fan of Ratigan because, oh my goodness, this is my kind of card. The Ratigan Greedy Genius. It's a 6/7 with Ward that quests for 4. At the end of your turn, if you didn't put any cards in your Inquires turn, banish it. This card is nuts, mate. This card is actually insane. Maui Half-Shark can remove it, but you know what can't? A Maui Hero to all. And it's got Ward, and it quests for 4. Matthew Robert Davies on the art. It's an absolute beauty. Look at that rat tail breaking the frame. I like this a lot. Now, if you think about Sapphire as a color, right? It likes to ramp. We all know that. But what slots, like what is a weakness actually if you look at the Sapphire card pool? And it is expensive card. It doesn't have many good expensive cards. And the balance reason for that, right, like from game design point of view, I would assume, obviously I don't know, but I mean, I can make a strong assumption, is that you have Sapphire as the ramp deck, but you want to be pairing Sapphire with like expensive cards from other colors, right? For example, if you look at like a Blurple deck, most of the time the top end's going to be like Elsa, and you might put Hades in the deck, but you're not going to put Hades in with Ruby. You're going to play B-Prep, you're going to play Maleficence, you're going to play Medusas, right? Sisus, whatever it might be. But the one big 8 cost that does see some play in Sapphire is the 8 cost Tamatoa, and that's been overshadowed recently, particularly with the Fortisphere ban, by the 6 cost Tamatoa. But this is, without doubt for me, the biggest, best top-end option you have in just pure Sapphire. So, if you are pairing Sapphire with a deck which doesn't have that many other good top-end options, Emerald comes to mind. Emerald doesn't have many good expensive cards that cost 8+. Amethyst doesn't have that many either. Steel, I'm not sure has that many. Like, I really like this card. I think this card's very, very, very good. Oh my goodness, I like this card a lot. This is my kind of card. It's got Ward, it's got huge stats, it quests for 4. I mean, that's the main thing I like about it. You guys know me, I like cards which quest for a lot, and this card quests for a lot, and it has Ward and insane stats. The ability is obviously a downside, but you can work it out. It's not, you know, it's not going to be that hard to achieve. If, you know, it's not, it could be a problem, but you can ink it if it's going to be a problem. It's inkable. I love this card. I love it. This is such a cool card. Enchanted, please. Flynn Rider, breaking and entering. I haven't seen this one yet. It's a 4-cost, uninkable 1/4. He's got his hands on the Hexwell Crown. One way or another, I get what I want. He is still a hero, thank goodness. We're not going to see Flynn Rider as the next big bad. That would be a twist, wouldn't it? This is a very big day. Whenever this character is challenged, the challenging player may choose and discard a card. If they don't, you gain 2 lore. Quest for 3. Could gain you 5 lore. I don't like it, actually, at all. I don't like it. It's not bad, don't get me wrong. It's like very similar to the 2-cost Flynn Rider, but this ability, you know, we looked at the Baz or the chip card earlier, which is like an instant discard at 4. At that stage in the game, you want that instant discard. You don't want like that optional discard. Like you play this on turn 4, you quest with it on turn 5. Your opponent's probably already got no cards in hand. So they challenge your Flynn Rider. They say, I'll discard a card. They don't discard a card. That's okay. There's a rules question. The challenging player may choose. I guess they don't discard a card. You might gain 2 lore then. I think I kind of misunderstood this card because most of the time you challenge Merfolk, you're like, okay, I discard a card, but I have nothing to discard. But on this card, I guess they have to discard a card, and if they have no cards, rather than being able to avoid the gain 2 lore part, you would just gain 2 lore, and that makes it better. Yeah, I think I misunderstood that card. Let me know what you guys think on that, but I'm pretty sure that's the ruling. Also, shout out to Coney, who does a lot of awesome art, and I've met her a few times, like the Prince John, for example, the Cuzco promo from the Continental Challenges. It's interesting. I'm really excited for this set. I'm not going to lie. I am pretty hyped at some of the cards we're seeing here. And let's not forget, now we've got Fabled in set 9 being mostly reprints. We need a pretty spicy set, and I think that's exactly what we're getting. Vincenzo Santorini, the explosives expert. It's a 2/8 and it quests for 3. Very interesting stat line. When you play this character, you may deal 3 damage to chosen. Oh my goodness. I like him a lot. When you play this character, you may deal 3. Never be afraid to make a big entrance. Oh, but especially he can be brawled. Who cares? This card's very good. 7's a lot, but in Sapphire Steel, yeah. Sapphire Steel with a whole new world, Fishbone Quill. I still feel like that deck's got to make a comeback at some point. Probably without ramp strategies, you're not getting to it. I'm not sure you would want to play like Lanterns and that sort of thing in Amber Steel, so probably a Sapphire Steel card. It has some potential. Questing for 3's a lot. 8 willpower's a lot. Brawl is the big weakness, of course it is, but that's fine. Zipper, Flying Ranger, the 2/4, sorry. It's a 3-cost and it quests for 1. Best Mates, if you have a character named Monterey Jack in play, you pay 1 ink less to play this character. During your turn, it gains evasive. I don't like it. Sorry. Sorry, Zipper. 2 more cards. We've got Bruno Madrigal, Single Minded. 4-cost 3/4, quest for 1. When you play this character, chosen opposing character can't ready at the start of the next turn. I'm not in the vision business right now. I'm in the stopping you business. Go on, Bruno. Don't like it that much. It's not bad. 3/4, it's a Madrigal. Again, if you're playing like a Madrigal theme deck and there's big payoff for Madrigals, maybe. It is a powerful ability. It's very much not a bad card. Like if this was a set 1 card, it would be played. Maybe like when rotation hits and we lose 3 sets, right? And we only gain 1, it becomes a bit better for a bit because there's less other options. I just feel like Amethyst has such a high quality card density. Like there's so many good cards in Amethyst. I'm not sure this would be easy to justify. It is not bad at all. I will say that. And this is a card I somehow missed yesterday. Something went wrong where I think we didn't talk about this card yesterday. I looked through all the others and this was the only one we didn't talk about. Maybe we did talk about it. I just didn't remember talking about it, but I wanted to talk about it. And it's Tramp the Dapper Rascal. This card is very good. Very, very good. I don't know what went wrong. yesterday. I guess like my tab disappeared or I didn't open one tab. But it's a 2/8. It quests for 2. Shift 4. During an opponent's turn, whenever one of your characters is banished, you may draw a card. Oh my goodness. Very, very good shift. Obviously, there's some nice cheap tramps, in particular that 2-cost tramp. There's some other tramps that have been released, but the 2-cost tramp might only cost you 1, and you shift this in before like a board clear or something. You draw a ton of cards. It's really good. I do like it a lot. I do like it a lot. But yep, that's all of the reveals for today. Thank you again to Card Market for sponsoring the video. Thanks to Ravensburger for continuing to make an awesome game. And thanks to all the artists for making it all come alive. Some real highlights from today's video. The Ratigan, I think, for me, is a standout card. The Chip, I have to say, is my pick of the bunch, though. I think that is a very, very impactful card. I really like Beyond the Horizon, potentially. This Into the Unknown is crazy. What else did we have? Quite a few mediocre ones. Some decent. These cards are cool. I'm not so sure because of the restriction of color. We saw some more self-wound support. Archimedes is great, like a new Benja. The Raya's interesting. Feel like she's not quite there. And the Basil, I'm also not too convinced by. But the Ratigan, the Into the Unknown, and yeah, for me, Chip. Ooh, give me an enchanted Chip, Ravensburger. I know you're not going to do it, but I would buy that. I really would. I think this card is a bit of a game changer. 3/2 stat line is so good for this ability. Like, you want to discard and then challenge. You want to discard and then not get completely quested out. You need to control the board. Emerald has a real problem of heavy discard decks of not having stats. This discards immediately and gives you stats. And you can play it in color combinations which aren't amber and don't have You Have Forgotten Me. Like, they just don't have as many discard options. Very, very, very good for discard. I like it a lot. Thanks for watching and see you soon.